Hello, and welcome to the first edition of the 420 News on the U.S. Weed Channel. My name is Barbie Summers.
And I'm Shane Duell. Our top story this evening, something on the national front. The President of the United States has said on national television that he feels marijuana is no worse than alcohol. Well, praise be to Barry Zigzag Obama for joining the social revolution of marijuana. While we appreciate you coming along, we just don't appreciate you lumping us with things that are, bad for you, like alcohol, cocaine, and heroin. Next story, Barbie.
I've got a story about cannabis in the NFL. Although the NFL's collective bargaining agreement prohibits players from using cannabis, Commissioner Roger Goodell said he will continue to evaluate the drug's potential as a pain reliever balanced against addiction issues. Now, I'd like to take a moment in time to address one of my pet peeves, which is dissemination of misinformation.
Dun, 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 dun.
Weed is not addictive. There are no physical withdrawal symptoms. We must continue to educate the public on this. It's a widely confused topic. Back to the story. Goodell said in a recent news conference, "We'll continue to follow the medicine," and "Our experts right now are not indicating we should change our policy in any way. We are not actively considering that at this point in time, but if it goes down the road sometime, that's something we would never take off the table." That's a quote. A bit confusing, but I think it's a step in the right direction. The NFL Players Association executive director said the league and union have had preliminary discussions about medicinal cannabis, but a policy would have to be included in the CBA in order to be implemented by the league. What's up next, Shane?
Thank you, Barbie. Here's a story that's near and dear to my heart. The U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee recently passed some bipartisan reform legislation. It's called the Smarter Sentencing Act. What it does is it allows for hundreds of federal prisoners who are in there for simple possession of marijuana to now go free. The only problem that we have with the bill at the U.S. Weed Channel and here on the 420 is that it also releases federal prisoners who are in there for simple cocaine possession. Now, I don't know if you know anybody who uses cocaine, but I've seen people that use cocaine, and I definitely think that they should be behind bars. Moving forward, how do you feel about that, Barbie?
Well, I'm a big believer that addiction is a medical issue. It doesn't warrant incarceration. So if people are simply in prison just for being addicted to a substance, I say let's treat them appropriately instead of just incarcerating them.
Yeah, I can agree with that theory. There's one more fabulous statistic that you're going to like in this story. Although we in America only have 5% of the population of the world, we incarcerate 25% of the world's incarcerated people. That's a lot of bad Americans. I'm sure we're not all that bad. I believe that the Smarter Sentencing Act is a step in the right direction. Barbie?
I agree.
Yeah.
Up next, New York's medical cannabis plans. New York's highly restrictive, controversial medical marijuana program could be up and running by this time next year. The state's health commissioner told lawmakers that he expects the program to launch within 12 months, adding that it will use cannabis provided by the federal government. Yeah, you heard me.
Government stash.
Under the program unveiled by Governor Cuomo, up to 20 hospitals could distribute medical marijuana to patients. Cannabis advocates and lawmakers have slammed the idea, saying it's too limited and unfeasible, given that it would require FDA-approved appropriations to pay for the cannabis, as well as the framework to run the program. They piled on more complaints after the health commissioner's comments. Those who have co-sponsored a bill that would legalize medicinal cannabis under a more traditional system allowing dispensaries to distribute the medicine said there's no way the FDA will agree to provide cannabis for the governor's program. Additionally, the one-year timeline for getting the program up and running is very optimistic given all the unique complications involved. I must say, I agree with the advocates. I don't believe the government should pay for anyone's weed. It's a fucking plant. It's an herb, and it's in our gardens. Back off.
Thanks for that interesting story and bit of input, Barbie. Congratulations are in order. Last month, Uruguay became the first nation on the planet to legalize marijuana. Completely. You can grow it, you can smoke it, heck, you could build your house out of it. It's legal in Uruguay. One neat part about this story is they've already got pre-orders from Canada, Chile, and Israel for tons and tons of medical grade marijuana for medical research. Now that is what I call smart economic decision making. Way to go, Uruguay. Yay. Now, for our next segment this evening, we've got the feel-good story. If you're ready to feel good, sit with us now. Keiko, what have you got today for us to make us feel good?
Hi, Shane.
Hi.
Today I have a wonderful story about a very small town, just over 6,000 people within the southern slopes of Colorado, and the name of the city is Carbondale, Colorado. On January 15th, a little shop opened up called Doctor's Garden. It is the first medical marijuana dispensary in that area. And it's located off a highway, and it's a small town which usually has a very busy, beautiful summertime season. Well, once Doctor's Garden opened up, a huge surge of business started occurring on Main Street, and all the other facilities around town, the hotels, the restaurants. In fact, the head of the Chamber of Commerce said that they've never seen business this well doing in the middle of January.
Way to go, weed.
So Doctor's Garden, thank you so much for giving the members of the city of Carbondale a great big economic boost, as well as bringing new visitors into the town and creating a big thrust of money to this sleepy town that really could use the economic boost.
That is a fantastic story, Keiko. You know, I'll bet you there are just a slew of towns all across America who could take note from this economic boost from
Carbondale, Colorado.
Carbondale, Colorado. You know, you might want to talk to your local representative and find out how they can get in touch with the representatives at
Carbondale, Colorado.
and get smart on the world of weed.
And I want to say we are looking forward to the great economic boost in the state of Washington as well in June, when they are able to have the recreational use of cannabis as well.
Amen to that one.
And Shane, I have one little piece I'd like to share with you about your Uruguay piece.
You mean there's more good news?
There's more good news.
Oh!
Actually, the president of Uruguay, Jose Mujica, nicknamed Pepe, has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Way to go, Pepe!
The cannabis-loving president feels that the promoting cannabis to his people and to the world expands the thought of peace, love, and understanding. And that is why he has been nominated twice for a Nobel Peace Prize.
I think that's awesome. You know, maybe we could change his nickname from Pepe to Verde.
To Verde. Well, let's give some good support to the people in Sweden who do the nominations and the voting to see if Pepe could get that win for the Nobel Peace Prize.
That is an awesome thought. Thanks for that extra bit of good news, Keiko.
Do you feel good now?
I feel double good.
I do too. James Brown, this is for you. We feel good.
Yeah. Thank you, Keiko. That was a fantastic report.
Thank you, Shane.
Well, that was a fantastic double good feel-good story. So now we have Barbie with something that she's been preparing on the side, a special ongoing report. She says it's going to be fabulous. I don't know anything about it. Barbie, what have you got for us?
You're going to like this. Our new segment is called Stars in the Weed.
I like it.
And in this episode of Stars in the Weed, we are going to highlight Be Real of the band Cypress Hill. He also has an online TV show called Be Real TV. He was awarded the 2014 Stoner of the Year award by High Times. The award is given at the LA Cannabis Cup, which just happened recently. So, way to go, Be Real.
Way to go, Be Real.
2015 Stoner of the Year.
Moving forward. Thank you for that, Barbie. Now, moving on, we're going to go from national news right on down to one of our states here in the Union of America. Alaska. Alaska could very well become the third state in our union to legalize marijuana for recreational use. Interestingly enough, Alaska voted in medical marijuana in 1998. However, in the years 2000 and 2004, they shot it down for recreational use. However, with Colorado and Washington leading the way, it seems that this will be not a problem once it's put on the ballot in November. So congratulations are coming to Alaska. Now, one quick side note on this, unlike Colorado, who the state is generating millions of dollars in tax revenue, Alaska's 700,000 people will probably not generate near as much tax revenue. It's estimated to be more in the tens of millions. However, if you've ever been to Alaska, I'm sure you'll note that they could probably use those tens of millions of dollars for some infrastructure. Barbie, back to you.
We're going to stay on the topic of tax revenue. During the first month of Colorado's recreational cannabis economy, businesses there have contributed over $1 million in tax revenue to state coffers. The dollar figure comes from an NBC News survey of cannabis stores. Of the 35 retail stores that opened on January 1st, 18 provided tax information to NBC. Based on the data, the full tax collection could be in the $3 million range. That estimate would put Colorado's total sales in the $8 million to $12 million range for January alone. With additional retail shops, cultivation facilities, edible businesses, and testing labs opening for business on a regular basis, the revenue generated by the cannabis industry could likely exceed the $67 million lawmakers estimated for the first year of business. Keep in mind that the tax rate for cannabis sales in Colorado is a whopping 25%.
Whoa!
It's
Whoa.
true. It's true, Shane.
Stop that. You misread that.
I did not. The way it breaks down is 15% will be used for public school construction, while 10% is used to fund enforcements and regulations on the retail cannabis industry. Some cannabis advocates argue that such a high tariff could bring us right back to the black market. What progress have we made?
Very insightful, Barbie. That's kind of a high tax. You know, I think you're very right. There's a very high probability that if a business owner had to pay 25% in taxation rather than a standard 10 or 15%, I believe maybe even 18% for cigarettes, that might drive them right off the edge, yeah?
Well, it's actually the purchaser that has to pay the 25%. So if I'm just a solo individual wanting to buy my weed, do I want to pay 25% or am I just going to buy it from my neighbor? Sounds like we're right back where we started. So a message to all the other states that are looking into legalization, watch it on the tax rate. Don't go too high.
I'm going to have to agree and cap on that with one last thing. You states that are about to legalize marijuana for recreational use, don't embarrass yourselves. Just because you're not making the money by arresting people and throwing people in jail and getting fines and things of that nature, find a way to do your business better without surviving on the money from those who utilize marijuana. Thanks again for joining us here at the 420. Our first edition was a fantastic success, and we hope that you learned something about cannabis. Don't forget to visit us at usweedchannel.com, where our motto is acceptance and legalization through education and entertainment. Thanks again for visiting us on the 420. I'm Shane Dool.
And I'm Barbie Summers. Keep it stony, America.